What happens when you have an object or group of objects that you want to animate with MoGraph effectors, but you don't want to put them into a clone object, or maybe you can't put them into a cloner? So let's talk about a typical example. We've got a logo and it's all split up into different splines, and we want to obviously give this some volume. So we know the process for that. We just put them into a generator. So we can just grab an extrude and put them all in, and you need to make sure if you have more than one object that the hierarchical button is on, and then you can set everything up like so. Just adding a bit of detail with these fillet caps, and we'll just constrain. And you might think, well, where's everything gone? Where's the other parts of the logo? Well, this is just a quick way of setting up an extrude object, and then you can press the C key and makes that one extrude editable, but it breaks it into separate extrude objects. And now we have take those out to that hierarchy, close that, and we can then start to bring out these other parts of the logo. So you need to be careful with your caps, especially when using constrain. They will need to be a lot smaller on that small text. So there you go. Just a quick example of breaking everything out, and let's just make these a lot smaller all round. And I'm going to filter the grid off, just so it's a bit easier to see what's going on. So let's say that's our logo, and we've got all these separate objects. So how do we get those into MoGraph system? Well, you can use a fracture object, and you can just grab those extrudes, drop them into the fracture object. You know it's all worked because it's turned white, and it's just being colorized by this color here in the transform tab. You can change that to whatever you'd like. Just as with the cloner, you can select the fracture object and go to the MoGraph effectors, and let's just push them apart. And you can change the mode to be maybe along the Z axis. We can use negative values, so minus, for example, minus, and we could just reduce the radius a bit. And if you wanted to, you could break out these other parts of the logo, these other circles. Just go back and watch the movies on working with splines, and you'll know how to do that. But for now, let's just say we've got everything how we wanted it, and you could then animate this with a fall off. So we'll choose maybe a linear fall off. Just give it an extra bit of just adjusting the size here, and then the fall off. And then you can just animate that into place. So that's how you'd bring objects into the MoGraph system without using a cloner.